Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for joining this morning. We shall continue. Quick start. Let's sing Radha Madhav first of all, and then we'll take it from there. Hare Krishna. Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunj Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunj Bihari Ganavallabha Jayo Giravardhari Ganavallabha Jaya Giravardhari Yashodanandan Vrajjana Ranjan Yashodanandan Vrajjana Ranjan Yamuna Tiruvanchari Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Hari Bol Jai. So thank you once again. And today we are doing verses from 12 up to I think it's 17. So let's do some prayers. Om Gyantimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakya Chakshu Unmiltam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthaptam Yena Bhutale Samrupa Akadamayam Dadati Swapatantikam Vanteham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapadakam Shri Guru Vaishnava Shri Rupam Sagrijatam Sagana Raghunatham Vitantam Sajivam Sadhvetam Savdutam Krishna Setam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sagana Lalita Shiva Shakhan Vitanascha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kant Radha Kant Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavan Vishwari Vishabhanu Sutadevi Pran Mami Haripriya Vancha Kalpatu Vihascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitana Pavnebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasi Gaur Bhakt Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so let me just load up. Share. Okay. Okay, so everybody can see this screen? Can see Shloka 12? You can see? So, Suta Janasi Badram Te Bhagwan Satvatam Patihi Devakyam Vasudevasya Jato Yasya Chikishaya. So Suta, oh Suta Goswami, Janasi, you know, Badramte, oh blessings upon you, Bhagwan, the personality of Godhead, Satpatam of the pure devotees, Pathi, the protector, Devakyam in the womb of Devaki, Vasudevasya by Vasudeva, Jatha, born of, Yasya, for the purpose of, Chikrishya, executing. All blessings upon you, Sutta Goswami. You know for what purpose is the personality Godhead appeared in the womb of Devaki as the son of Vasudeva. So Bhagwan means the Almighty God, who is the controller of opulence, power, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. He is the protector of his pure devotees. Although God is equally disposed to everyone, he is especially inclined to his devotees. So although he's equal, but he has this extra attraction to his devotees because, well, God acts with us the way we act with him. If we have extra attraction for him, then it's his law that he will have attraction for us. He's especially inclined to his devotees. Sat means the absolute truth, and persons who are servitors of the absolute truth are called sattvatas, and the person of God who protects such pure devotee is known as the protector of the sattvatas. Bhadramte, or blessing is upon you, indicates the sages' anxiety to know the absolute truth from the speaker. Lord Shri Krishna, the Supreme Personal Godhead, appears to Devaki, the wife of Vasudeva. Vasudeva is the symbol of the transcendental position wherein the appearance of Supreme Lord takes place. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Mukham Kroti Vachalam Pangum Nangyate Grim Yat Kirpatam Vandashi Gurundin Taranam Pramananda Madhvam Shitanaishram Hariyam Tasat. Narayan Namaskritya Naram Cheva Naruttamam Devim Sasvitvyasam Tato Jemaduriyat Nashta Prishabdireshu Nittam Bhagavad-Sevayā Bhavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Neshtiki. So last time we were talking about two questions. We were talking about what is the ultimate good in verse 10. That's the question the sages asked 6 questions. And the first question they asked for the good of mankind, because Kali Yuga was approaching or is already there. They asked, what is the ultimate good? And then in verse 11, they asked the essence of all scriptures. Now in 12, they're asking, what is the purpose of Krishna's appearance? That's the third question. What is the purpose of Krishna's appearance? So Srila Prabhupada explains that the sages were in anxiety to know the absolute truth of Sri Krishna because there is decline in religious principles. To protect the devotees and in highlight the miscreants, yada yada hi dharmasya glanit bhavati bharata abhiyathanam adharmasya tada atmanam sujamyaham. So whenever and wherever there is decline in religious practice or descent of Bharat and a predominance rise of a religion, at that time I descend myself. So that's part of the reason why Krishna, he appears from time to time, yada yada, whenever and wherever. So he sort of suits himself, basically. When he suits him, it's not like, oh, Krishna, you have to come at this particular time, or don't come at this time because we're doing this. He'll come, he's independent, it's Swarat. He will come when he wants to come, when he's ready. Because obviously he has to go through all the different universes. And when our turn comes, whenever, then he will come. So Srila Prabhupada explains that this is the external reason for Krishna's appearance, that he comes to highlight the miscreants and protect the devotees. That's his external reason. The internal reason is that Krishna is coming to the material world to perform his pastimes. And that's what he does in all the different universes. He goes in from his pastimes. And if we get the opportunity to go back to the spiritual world, the first thing we will do, we will join him in his pastimes in one of the universe. Wherever he is, we'll be taken there. And we can take birth in a house of a gopi and then become, his associate there in his pastime. So that's his internal reason why he comes. He comes to do his pastimes. So when we do pastimes with him, we become attracted to him, or we're attracted to his pastimes. So we can focus our mind, attention in glorifying Krishna. Krishna is attracting us through these pastimes as well. So pure devotees relish his association. So Krishna comes to exchange loving relationships with these devotees. We'll have people here who can join him. He will bring his paraphernalia with him, who will take birth before he gets here, as we see in his pastime. So it's like so purifying, so attractive. And then once we complete the pastimes, Krishna is happy, we'll go back to spiritual world. It's just simple as that. So that's verse 12. Now look at verse 13. Tannaha shushrushamananam arasi anganu varnitam yasya vataro bhutanam shemaya cha bhavya cha. So tat is those, naha unto us, shushushama nananam, those who are endeavoring for, arasi ought to do it, anga osuta Goswami, anuvarnitam, to explain by following in the footsteps of previous acharyas, yasya, whose, avatara, incarnation, bhutanam, of the living being, shemaya, for good, cha, and bhavya, upliftment, cha. O Sutta Goswami, we are eager to learn about the personality of Godhead and his incarnations. Please explain to us those teachings imparted by previous masters or acharyas, for one is uplifted by speaking them and hearing them. So the conditions for hearing the transcendental message of the absolute truth are set forth herein, Srila Prabhupada explains. The first condition is that the audience must be very sincere and eager to hear. It's all right having a good speaker. If you're not interested, then it doesn't connect, it doesn't work out. You can have the best speaker, but if the listeners don't have that appetite for hearing, for eating through the ears this sweet nectar, then what can the speaker do? You can have the best food, but if your digestion system is poor, what can the food do? It's not fault of the food. It's fault of your own digestive system. So, and the speaker must be in the line of disciplic succession from the recognized Acharya. And that's was we were discussing yesterday in Bhagavad-Gita. That must be from disciplic succession. What does disciplic succession mean? It means it's passed on from spiritual master to disciple, and then he becomes a spiritual master, and then he passes on to his disciples, and on in a chain or a train reaction. This knowledge is passed on without any alteration. That's what makes it disciplic succession. There should be no alteration, like Chinese whispers. It continues as it is. It's absolutely pure from the day he left Krishna to the day he reached us. Is in pure form. So the transcendental message of the Absolute is not understandable by those who are materially absorbed. Under the direction of a bona fide spiritual master, one becomes gradually purified. Therefore, one must be in the chain of disciplic succession and learn the spiritual art of submissive hearing. So that's the qualification you need. You must have submissive hearing. Don't challenge anything. You can clear your doubts, but don't challenge or I don't agree with this. Like you can't, then it doesn't work out. You got to be submissive, because this is transcendental knowledge. Sometimes you think, no, this can't be true, or that this doesn't make sense. But yes, as a doubt, you can clear, but we shouldn't reject any transcendental knowledge. So in the case of Sutta Goswami and the sages of Naimisharanya, all these conditions are fulfilled because Srila Sutta Goswami is in the line of Srila Vyasadeva. So he comes from a disciplic succession, and the sages of Naimisharanya are all sincere souls who are anxious to learn the truth. So they are hungry, and Sutta Goswami has the nectar that they need. Thus, the transcendental topics of Lord Shri Krishna's superhuman activities, his incarnation, his birth, appearance, disappearance, his forms, his names, and so on, are all easily understandable because of requirements of fulfilled. And these are all superhuman activities. They can't be explained by anyone. Such discourses help all men on the path of spiritual realization. So here explains the conditions for hearing, and plus it's a gradual process for purification. Because we have been here for billions of lifetimes, and we got very deep impressions of material life, very deep impressions, and they're not easy to wipe out, right? These all to cover deep impressions. There's loads there, and how do we cover them? Unlearning bad habits. For that, we need advice from the Acharyas. We need guidance from the Acharyas. We can't do it ourselves. We won't even probably know what bad habits we have. Somebody has to tell us. So everything is in Srila Prabhupada's books, and we're discussing now, we need to take advantage. And the more we absorb ourselves in these teachings, the more we apply them, the more we become purified, and we get rid of our anarthas. We have so many anarthas. We can become purified by chanting and hearing Bhagavatam and Bhagavad-Gita. In the case of Sutta Goswami and the sages of Namsharanya, all these conditions are fulfilled because Sutta is spiritual master, is now Sukadev Goswami. So just like Sukadev Goswami's teacher was Vyasadeva, his father, Sukadev Swami has become the spiritual master of Sutta Goswami because he heard Bhagavatam from him. So it's become a disciplinary succession, a chain. So he's the bona fide source. That's why the sages asked him to recite Bhagavatam to them. So to understand Krishna, we have to be connected to the bona fide source. Otherwise, information misinterpreted, right, becomes inaccessible, and that's why this chain is broken. The knowledge is lost. Like Krishna said, this knowledge is lost. He says in 4.1 or 4.2, he says this knowledge is lost, and I've come here to give you the knowledge of Bhagavad-Gita. So he started again the disciplic succession. And our bona fide source is our Srila Prabhupada. He gave us the knowledge, he passed it on to our spiritual masters. But we just have to connect submissively. Now in 14, Apanna samasitam goram jannam vivasho granam tatha sadyo vimuchita yad babeti swayam bayam. Apanna is being entangled. Samsritim is the hurdle of birth and death. Goram, too complicated. Yat, what? Nam, the absolute name. Vivasha, unconsciously. Ganan, chanting. Tatha, from that. Sandhya, at once. Vimuchyata, get freedom. Yat, that which. Vibheti, fears. Swayam, personally. Bayam, fear itself. So, apanna samsitam goram. Yanam vivasho grinan. Tatha sadhya vimuchyata. Yad vibheti swayam bayam. Translation: living beings who are entangled in the complicated meshes of birth and death can be freed immediately by even unconsciously chanting the holy name of Krishna, which is feared by fear personified. So can be freed immediately by even unconsciously chanting the holy name of Krishna. Amazing. I guess we think about Ajamil, because he just started Narayan and he was freed. Vasudev, O Lord Krishna, the absolute personality Godhead, is the supreme control of everything. There is no one in creation who is not afraid of the rage of the Almighty. Great asuras like Ravan, Hiranyakashipu, Kams, and others who were very powerful living entities were all killed by the personality Godhead. So nobody can, even the strongest of Rakshas, asuras, cannot stand in front of Krishna, because everything emanates from him. He is more powerful than anyone. He has unlimited strength. And the Almighty Vasudeva has empowered his name with powers of his personal self. So he has invested all his powers in his holy name, especially in the Kali Yuga. The holy name, the chanting of the name is Krishna himself. He's in there with all his opulences, all his power is invested in there. Everything is related to him, and everything has its identity in him. It is stated herein that the name of Krishna is feared even by fear personified. This indicates that the name of Krishna is none different from Krishna. He's absolute. Everything about him is him. It can be anything he wants. Therefore, the name of Krishna is as powerful as Lord Krishna himself. There's no difference at all. Anyone, therefore, can take advantage of the holy name of the Lord Sri Krishna, even in the midst of great dangers. Translate the name of Krishna, even though uttered unconsciously or by force of circumstances. When you're scared, you might not chant Krishna's name when when everything's going all right, but when something goes wrong, then automatically you remember, God, please help me. I will be really good from now on. Can help one obtain freedom from the hurdle of birth and death. So this is Krishna investing all his energies in his holy name. And it's explained by Srila Prabhupada that the sages have now introduced the chanting of the holy name. Or Srila Prabhupada has introduced the chanting of the holy name. And so Krishna appeared in the Kali Yuga as his own. Krishna doesn't leave us, he just changes form according to the Yuga. And now he's here as the holy name itself, and we can take shelter of the holy name. So before we were seeing in the Dwapar Yuga would see with the eyes, now you're seeing with your ears. That's the only difference. And for seeing with the eyes, you have to be pure as well, otherwise you see ordinary human being. If you're a devotee, you see the Lord as he is. So here as well, if you're a devotee, you'll see Krishna through your ears. You will see him through his holy name. So you can get benefit from the holy name by knowingly and unknowingly chanting. And thing is, if you chant consciously, that's where you get the benefit, the maximum benefit by chanting consciously. Although you get consciously, even if you do it unconsciously or subconsciously, you get benefit. But if you want maximum benefit, then you do it consciously. Be attentive. And I'm not saying that I am attentive when I'm chanting. Mind is naturally, it wanders off here and there. It has so many plans, especially when you're chanting. You think, oh, you're sitting here for 2 hours, let me go somewhere. You carry on chanting, I'll go somewhere else and do something more exciting. So we have to say, no, mind, I'm here. The holy name is here. And you have to be. It's like a child. No, you sit by me while I'm chanting. You sit. And then sooner or later, the child will become accustomed to it and you start listening. Yeah, this is really nice. I want to, please chant. I'd like to hear more. So you tell the mind, no, you can't go off somewhere else. I'm chanting now. You have to hear me. You have to listen to me. And please bless me that I can do the same. Because yes, it's easier said than done. But we have to keep trying. So Srila Prabhupada reminds us from Chaitanya Charitamrita that the Ishvapuri, the spiritual master of Mahaprabhu, gave the mantra to Mahaprabhu to chant. And when Mahaprabhu met with the Mayavadi sannyasis and Prakashananda Saraswati, inquired from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu why he neither studied Vedanta nor performed meditation. Because he looked, Mahaprabhu, he was effulgence, he had so much effulgence, he looked very intelligent. So the Mayavadis were curious that, you look the part, but then why are you just dancing and singing all the time? So he inquired that why you never studied Vedanta nor performed meditation, and why you just chanting and dancing all the time? What does it mean? It's like something new to them, right? Why are you just chanting and dancing? You can do more with your life. So Mahaprabhu replied that, my spiritual master told me that I'm a fool I'm not qualified to study Vedanta philosophy. I'm just not smart enough to study all that. And he just said, just chant the holy name. And to be honest, that's the essence of all the mantras anyway. And it says here in the verse, Murkh tumi tumhara nahika Vedanta adhikar. Krishna mantra jap sada e mantra sar. So you are Murkh, you are fool. It's not your right. You don't have the adhikar to read Vedanta or study Vedanta. Just chant Krishna's name. And that sort of applies to us really. Just chant and hear, you know. Krishna manta haite habe samsara mochan. Krishna naam haite apabe Krishnera charan. Simply by chanting the holy name of Krishna, one can obtain freedom from material existence. Indeed, simply by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, one will be able to see the lotus feet of the Lord. So one day we will, once the heart is purified, we will see Krishna face to face. At the moment, we just have to settle for seeing him through the ears. One day we'll see him with the eyes. Naam vino kali kale nahi ar dharma sarva mantra sar naam e shastra marm. In this age of Kali, there is no religious principle other than chanting of the holy name, which is the essence of all Vedic hymns. This is the purport of all scriptures. Hare Nam, eva kevalam, kalyo nasti, eva gatir anyatha. For spiritual progress, in this age of Kali, there is no alternative. There is no alternative to the holy name. The holy name of the Lord. So Ishpuri told Mahaprabhu that he was a fool, and although he was God himself, he also told him the importance of the above verses and that there is no better way in this age of Kali. Basically, that's a message for us. So actually, this instruction is for fools like us. All fools should chant the holy name and dance. We are definitely not qualified to study Vedanta. We don't have the lifetime, it can take 3 lives to study Vedanta. While Srimad Bhagavatam is the essence of all the Vedas anyway. Right, so this is interesting. So Srimad Bhagavatam is the essence of all Vedanta, right, of all the Vedas. But then the holy name is the essence of all the mantras contained in Srimad Bhagavatam. We have to do both, right? But the holy name now is so powerful that it's the essence of all the 18,000 mantras in the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's the essence of all them. So to see how important chanting is, because chanting is like top of the list after health, obviously, after your health, and then you must chant, because if you don't have health, then you can't do anything. You don't have an instrument to chant with. So more we practice, more we will remember the holy name. And now, how do we measure our attachment to Krishna? People ask that question. How do I measure that I'm getting attached to Krishna? So Krishna is in his holy name, as we've just said. So measure your attachment by how much you love the holy name. How much attraction you get into the holy name, how much attraction you get into the chanting. That is how much you are attached to Krishna. If you're not getting any taste in your chanting, then you really don't have any attraction at the moment. Otherwise, you might have like on-off attraction, but you're not connected just yet. You've got to keep on trying. So if I can't develop taste for the holy name, then we can't associate with Krishna. It's as simple as that. We can't go back home. So we need to take advantage of this. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. We can chant 192 rounds in a day. It's free. There's no meter running saying, oh, you charge 192 rounds and this is your bill. So much is free. You just chant minimum 16 rounds. Just keep chanting until we get that taste. You got to just keep at it until the makhan, right? Keep churning the milk. Keep churning the yogurt. Keep churning until it develops into butter. When you were sometimes you whisking cream and you wait for the butter and you just not coming, another 100, another 100, another 100. You're just whisking away, and suddenly Suddenly, just appears, just thickens. So like that, just keep chanting, and one day the taste will appear, and you won't be able to stop chanting. It's like that. At least that's what I've heard. I've not experienced it yet, but it's there. Yat pad samshreha suta munya prashama yanah sadhya punanti upashrata svardune apo nusavya. Yat whose path, lotus feet, samshreya, those who haven't taken shelter of Suta, or Suta Goswami, Munya, great sages, Prashamanaha, Prashamayanha, absorbed in devotion to the Supreme, Sadhyaha, at once, Punanti, sanctify, Upas Prishtaha, simply by association, Surduni, of the sacred Ganges, Apaha, water, Anusevya, bringing into use. So Yat Pad Samshreya Suta Munya Prashamayanaha Sadhya Punanti Upashrata Surduni Apo Nusavya. O Sutta, those great sages who have completely taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord can at once sanctify those who come in touch with them, whereas the waters of the Ganges can sanctify only after prolonged use. Just going to read that again. O Sutta, those great sages who have completely taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord can at once sanctify those who come in touch with them, whereas the waters of the Ganges can sanctify only after prolonged use. This is very interesting. So the sages become even more purifying than the Ganges itself, according to this. And when Mother Ganges, she came to earth, she complained that all these sinful people will purifying themselves in my waters, but then I will be left with so much sin. How will I cope with that? They'll be like washing up so much sin into me. And it was explained to her that yes, sinful people will come and bathe in you, but then these great sages will also bathe in your waters, and that will neutralize the sins. They will purify them for you, so don't worry. So pure devotees of the Lord are more powerful than the waters of the sacred river Ganges. One can derive spiritual benefit after prolonged use of the Ganges water, but one can be sanctified at once by the mercy of the pure devotees of the Lord. So this is how important and how potent these sages are. In Bhagavad-Gita, it is said that any person, regardless of birth or as Shudra, woman, merchant, can take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. By so doing, can return to Godhead. To take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord means to take shelter of the pure devotees. That's why we have to go through the spiritual master. The pure devotees whose only business is serving are honored by the names Prabhupada and Vishnupad, which indicates such devotees to the representatives of the lotus feet of the Lord. Anyone, therefore, who takes shelter of the lotus feet of a pure devotee by accepting the pure devotee as his spiritual master can be at once purified. Such devotees of the Lord are honored equally with the Lord because they are engaged in the most confidential service of the Lord for the deliver out of the material world the fallen souls whom the Lord wants to return home back to Godhead. Such pure devotees are better known as vice lords. According to revealed scriptures, the sincere disciple or the pure devotee considers the spiritual master equal to the Lord, but always considers himself to be a humble servant of the Lord. This is the pure devotional path. So humbleness, we have to be humble, but we give a lot of respect to our spiritual master. So when Srila Prabhupada was here, there's so many people affected by him. So many. Even the non-believers became believers. even the ones who said, I will never bow to, some old man from India. Why should I bow to him? This and that. And then once they see him in front, they automatically bow down, fall on the floor like a danda. And they even like, wow, I don't know what happened to me then. I was like, there's no way I'm giving this guy any respect. And then there's the power of Srila Prabhupada that they had they had no control over their body. They're just collapsing on the floor. So it's like that. And so we are blessed that we're getting association of Srila Prabhupada through his Vani right now. Although, we weren't there, we couldn't see him face to face, but we see him through his Vani. He's left so much for us, amazing amount of information. Taking shelter of the Lord's feet of the Lord means taking shelter of the Lord's feet of a pure devotee, as mentioned. So, how does taking shelter of the lotus feet of a devotee mean? It means following his instructions, right? So we're following Srila Prabhupada's instructions. So we're taking shelter of him. So accept them as spiritual master. Until you get your own spiritual master, personal spiritual master, you accept Srila Prabhupada as your spiritual master. They are engaged in the most confidential service of the Lord. Serve the spiritual master as a representative of God or servant of God. So spiritual master, we give them a lot of respect. We treat them, same level as God, but we have to still remember that they're not God. They are also representatives of God or servant of God as well. So even like calamities help us. They give us opportunity to remember the Lord. We don't invite. So Prabhupada reminds us that, like Kunti Mata, she was like talking about calamities in her prayers, which we will discuss later on, the beautiful prayers. We don't invite calamities like Kunti Mata did. They come by themselves anyway, without invitation. And plus, we don't have the capacity to handle such calamities. But if they do come, just take shelter of the Lord and take shelter of his devotee. So in times of calamity, especially, take shelter, get even closer, to the lotus feet of the Lord, to the lotus feet of your spiritual master. And just be thankful to calamities. Remembering the lotus feet can also mean, what does that mean? It means chanting the Hare Krishna. So you chant harder, you chant more, like that. So let's look at 16. Kova Bhagavatasya punya shloke dya karmana shuddhi kamana shrunya yasya kali malapaham. Kahu Radha Bhagavata of the Lord, Tasya is Punya, virtuous, Shloka, Idya, worshipful by praise, Karmanaha, deed, Shuddhi, Kamaha, desiring deliverance from all sins, not Shuriniyat, does here, Yashyaha, Glories, Kali, of the age of quarrel, and Mal Apam, the agent for sanctification. Who is there desiring deliverance from the vices of the age of quarrel? Who is not willing to hear the virtuous glories of the Lord? Srila Prabhupada explains that the age of Kali is the most condemned age due to its quarrelsome features. That's what it's all about, quarreling. The Kali Yuga is so saturated with vicious habits that there is great fight at the slightest misunderstanding. And don't we know it? Those who are engaged in the pure devotional service of the Lord, who are without any desire for self-aggrandizement and who are freed from the effects of fruitive actions, drive philosophical speculations, and are capable of getting out of the estrangements of this complicated age. The leaders of the people are very much anxious to live in peace and friendship, but they have no information, the simple method of hearing the glories of the Lord. On the contrary, such leaders are opposed to the propagation of the glories of the Lord. In other words, the foolish leaders want to completely deny the existence of the Lord in the name of secular state. Such leaders are enacting various plans every year, but by the insurmountable intricacies of the material nature of the Lord, all these plans for progress are being constantly frustrated. They have no eyes to see that their attempts at peace and friendship are failing. But here's a hint to get over the hurdle. If we want actual peace, we must open the road to understand this Lord Krishna and glorify him for his virtuous activities as they depicted in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srila Prabhupada explains that everyone wants peace, right? One peace. And Srila Prabhupada, he gave us a peace formula. But if you want peace, individually, collectively, universally, we must understand the Lord, glorify him and his activities. When we have selfish desires and motives, there is no peace. When we're thinking about ourselves only, there is no peace. Everything, Krishna is the center, and then there is peace because you'll do everything in the right way. When you put Lord in the center, there can be peace. This is the way. So I'm just going to finish on the last one now because the time is running. So 17. Tasya karmani udarani parikitani surra bihi gruhina shardha dhananam lilya dadataha kalaha. Tasya is his karmani, transcendental acts, udarani, magnanimous, parikitani, broadcast, surya by the great souls, bruhi, please speak now unto us, shardha dhananam, ready to receive respect, lilya, pastimes, dadhata, advantage, kalaha, incarnations. His transcendental acts are magnificent and gracious, and great learned sages like Narayan sing of them. Please therefore speak to us who are eager to hear about the adventures he performs in his various incarnations. So this is another question now asked by the sages. So personal Godhead is never inactive as some less intelligent persons suggest. His works are magnificent and magnanimous. His creations, both material and spiritual, are all wonderful and contain all variegatedness. They are described nicely by such liberated souls as Srila Narad, Vyas, Valmiki, Devla, Asita, Madhva, Sri Chaitanya, Ramanuja, Vishnu Swami, Nimbarka, Sridhar, Vishwanath, Baladev, Bhaktivinoda, Siddhanta Saraswati, and many other learned and self-realized souls. So these souls are from millions of years ago, and also some contemporary souls as well, like our Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj from our Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master, and we also have Bhaktivinoda Thakur. These creations, both material and spiritual, are full of opulence, beauty, and knowledge. But the spiritual realm is most magnificent due to its being full of knowledge, bliss, and eternity. The material creations are manifested for some time as perverted shadows of the spiritual kingdom and can be likened to symbols. They attract people of less intelligent caliber who are attracted by false sayings. Such foolish men have no information of the reality, and they take it for granted that the false material manifestation is the all in all. But more intelligent men, guided by sages like Vyas and Narad, know that the eternal kingdom of God is more delightful, larger, and eternally full of bliss and knowledge. Those who are not conversant with the activities of the Lord and his transcendental realm are sometimes favored by the Lord in his adventures as incarnations, wherein he displays the eternal bliss of his association in the transcendental realm. By such activities, he attracts the conditioned souls of the material world. So, clue is given here that Krishna comes in his incarnations to attract the conditioned souls back to the spiritual world. But we discuss that more when Sutta Swami gives the responses. Some of these conditioned souls are engaged in full of false enjoyment of material senses, and others in simply negating the real life in the spiritual world. These less intelligent persons are known as karmis, fruit workers, and gyanis, or dry mental speculators. But above these two classes of men is a transcendentalist known as Sattvat, or the devotee, who is busy neither with rampant material activity nor with material speculation. He is engaged in the positive service of the Lord, and thereby he derives the highest spiritual benefit known to the karmis and gyanis. As the supreme controller of both the material and spiritual worlds, the Lord has different incarnations or unlimited categories. Incarnation like Brahma, Rudra, Manu, Prithu, Vyas are his material qualitative incarnations. But his incarnation like Ram, Narasimha, Varaha, Vaman are his transcendental incarnations. Lord Sri Krishna is fountainhead by all incarnation and is therefore the cause of all causes. So there are different types of incarnations like Brahma, Rudra, Manu, Prithu. These are Jiva Tattva, and who have been empowered to do certain tasks. Whereas Ram, Nrsimha, Vishnu Tattva is Krishna himself. And just quickly, so that was the question 4. Do you want to know about the Purushavatara's incarnations? So the Purushavatara's are Krishna's extension and connected and related to this material creation. So the first Purushavatara is Mahavishnu, the Karandakshay Vishnu, then Garbhodakshay Vishnu. So Mahavishnu, all the planets come out of Mahavishnu, and Garbhodakshay Vishnu is like where Brahma is connected. So Mahavishnu expands into Garbhodakshay Vishnu, and Brahma is come from his navel. So Garbhodakshay Vishnu is the soul of considered the soul of the universe. It sits in bottom, of the universe, and then Brahma, you see pictures where he sprouts Brahmaji on a lotus from his navel, and then he also expands into Kshirodakshay Vishnu, who is our super soul. In every little atom, the super soul is there. So, Srila explained the spiritual world is beautiful, Krishna is there, material world is temporary from the breathing of Mahavishnu, and is a reflection of spiritual world only. For those who don't want Krishna, when we've learned our lesson, so this material world is for people who don't want Krishna, but when we have learned our lesson, which we learn from the Acharyas, how to connect back with Krishna, we hear the pastimes of Krishna again and again to trigger our spiritual neurons to bring back our memory. So it's there. Everything is there in our consciousness. All our previous lives are there in our consciousness, even as animals. All what we did as even animals, it's all there, stored in the hard drive in our consciousness. And even spiritual world is also there. And when we hear the pastimes, it's like reminding us we lost our memory. It's reminding us again and again. And then something will trigger and we will remember Krishna. So like that. So thank you so much. I'm sorry I've taken so much time because I would like to hear from everyone as well. See what we can do today. I'd like to start with Pundikaksh Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. We thought order should be different, no, Prabhuji, today. Order. Deepak Prabhuji.
Sorry, Prabhu, missed that.
Sorry, we thought order will be different, no, today.
No, you carry on, Prabhu. It's okay. It's okay. I think Prabhu is driving at the moment anyway.
Okay. Then a few things, Prabhuji. These verses are telling us the importance of hearing, listening, who is a good listener and who is a good speaker, and the importance of spiritual master in our life. And the most important thing is chanting, which is very important for this Kali Yuga. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Rama me kevalam, Kalo nasteva nasteva gatiranyata. So, but this can be done only under the guidance of a spiritual master. And if you are not coming under discipline succession, then it's very hard to understand this philosophy. And especially we are affected by 4 defects, which is illusion, cheating, propensity, and committing mistakes, and another one. So without the guidance of a spiritual master, who are dedicated to serve the Supreme Lord, it's very hard to understand this knowledge. So submissively hearing is very important. And in the very first text, it mentioned that Krishna come to save his devotees, protect his devotees. But so there's always a question that Krishna is partial or impartial, because if we see, some people are protected and some people, it looks like they're not protected by Krishna. But Krishna is always impartial. Is always impartial to anyone. He protects everyone equally according to their activities and their desires. And that's why Krishna has given us these scriptures and spiritual master who can guide us to come out of this pang of Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. Yeah, that's all, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you, Kiran Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I won't take long. I think the key messages for me are the sincerity with which we have to receive this message. Listen, hear, and with faith and devotion, because there's no other way. And to get the message from the disciplic succession, because to get it from other sources is only cheating yourself and cheating the parampara. And I think it's so important that we have to remember the sources, that Krishna is the well from where everything has emerged, but there's Chaitanya, Chamrita, the Nityananda, and all the branches of that tree have contributed to the development of the Sankirtan movement. The chanting with concentration and consciousness will set us free. The philosophy is so important, but you don't have to have the philosophy. If your heart, your mind is free and devoid of sense gratification, then we can find the way forward. It's the only way. Chant and be free. And, the water of the Ganges will purify, but it clearly says in this in the text that people have taken advantage, but practice is required. Continuation of the chanting and the continuation of engagement with the Sangha will only raise the hairs on the back of your head, will only transform the heart, will make the heart beat faster and the tears well up. That's when you know when you've got the bhav. When the bhav's there and the taste is there and the sugarcane taste permeates every cell in our body, then we know that we have the taste for the divine. The leaders of the world, one is being inaugurated today, are interested in their own personal gains. Secularism is fine. It's a way forward. However, secularism has its flaws. And I think beneath this, the leaders of the world have to become Raja Rishis. Raja Rishis who had spiritual, religious, and cultural values, not just personal gains and needs for their own benefits. And I think, eventually it will come, but we have to have some pain. No pain, no gain. And that's where we're at. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Yeah, Rajarishis. We have to have that mentality as well. We can live in the riches, live a good life, this, but obviously, consciously, we should be renounced, ready to give up much as we can. As time goes, give priority to our bhakti. Thank you so much. Hina Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, thank you so much. Please accept my humble obeisances of glories to Srila Prabhupada. Apologies, I joined a slightly late. In terms of the key points for me, how these less biases cover the power of the holy name. It's easy to underestimate its power. It sounds so simple, but to just chant purely and attentively is actually very difficult. Takes a while, and it's because we do need to purify ourselves, and chanting helps as part of that process. Very nice point as well around how the Maha Mantra is the essence of all the Vedic mantras. We should, so I'm telling myself this, that I should keep the mantra running through my head and listening to it and chanting it as much as possible outside my rounds. I see it as a helpline in the material world. So to call out to the Lord for his pleasure, asking to be engaged in his service. And these are spiritual vibrations. They get heard. They never, it's never, they go to where they need to get to almost. So that it's not fruitless at all. Even if it is in your mind, even if it's under your breath, even if no one else can hear it, these are these spiritual vibrations. So that was it. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. You just mentioned the Maha Mantra as the essence of 18,000 verses, Srimad Bhagavatam. And I'm thinking, wow, if we're chanting, then we are sort of reciting Bhagavatam constantly, all 18,000 verses of it. So how amazing is that? How purifying is that? But it has to be done attentively. Then it's maximum. That's his maximum strength, maximum potency will help us. Okay. If you don't mind, I want to hear from Warren because he's joined for the first time. Warren, you would like to, anything that stood out for you, Prabhu, today?
So hello. First of all, what I'll say is anything that I say, I could be wrong about. Anything that I say, I don't know enough. I don't know if any of us do. But I just think that at the moment, the way the world is, we have to have some kind of respect for everyone. And we have to carry on a beautiful culture that's existed for many years. And everyone should have a little piece of the pie. I think one group should have this, one group should have that, one group should have that. And I think that if we have ultimately some kind of love and respect for everyone, then this world will hopefully come to some kind of state where we're a little bit advancing each generation. And that's really my hope for the world.
Thank you so much. Absolutely right. Because first of all, we need peace, tranquility before we can go into spirituality, right? Because if everybody's running around fighting and this and that, there is no time or room for spirituality left. There has to be love and peace there. And then we all prepare to listen to each other and we can work together. Okay, people have slightly different religions, different beliefs, but it's all, everybody's at their own different stages. And as long as they are heading towards a peaceful environment, that is a good beginning. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Praveen Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yeah, it's nice, Warren Prabhu, he's picked on the peace. And Srila Prabhupada, he has given us the peace formula. He said one God, one scripture. So Bhagavad-Gita, Bhagavatam, and Mahamantra is the peace formula. It can unite everyone. And Krishna, in these verses we've read, it's been glorifying Krishna's name, his pastimes, and the reasons why Krishna appears, because he's so merciful. He's trying to attract conditioned souls like us who have fallen to take us back, and also glorifying the pure devotees. And compared to the water of Ganges, how pure devotees are greater than even the water of Ganges. So again, it is Krishna's mercy when we get the association of pure devotees. And we should inspire more and more to get more association. And the other thing is, we have to be free from material desires to actually benefit. And I still feel, because Krishna is so merciful, even when we're chanting unattentively, yes, our goal is to be, attentive, to do attentive chanting. But even when we are unattentive, Krishna is still merciful. He's still helping us to carry on. Yes. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you, Madhya. We'll notice that even before we came to Krishna consciousness, Krishna was helping us then. We are all his parts and parcels, whether we are devotees or not devotees, we are parts and parcels. And he's within us as a super soul. Even if we become animals, he'll still be with us. So he's, when we think about it like that, he really is very compassionate, very patient with us life after life. And he stays with us. He doesn't leave us. He stays with us. fulfills all our desires according to how much we deserve. Every desire is fulfilled. No desire goes unfulfilled, but how we deserve that desire, that, it depends on us. So he's always there. He's always sanctifying and helping us in every situation. Amazing.
But sometimes we feel he's giving us more than we deserve, Prabhuji. He's so merciful, and then, like I always say, like he's given us more than we deserve.
Causeless mercy.
Causeless mercy, yes.
Absolutely. Thank you, Aditi. Nice. Okay. Is our Deepak Prabhu, are you available to speak, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji, I can. Hare Krishna ji. I think very important shlokas, all of them. So, whereas 12 highlights, and the sages, obviously, they want to ask for what purpose the personality of Godhead, Krishna, appeared in the womb of Devaki. And in the very next verse, obviously, they, kind of give guidelines that who should be receiving all that teaching and how to go about it. You should be sincere, and you should be, you should have the anxiety to hear about it. And the verse 14, obviously, it clearly just, the importance of Krishna and the importance of his name, that even if you have taken the name of Krishna unattentively or by any other method, but still you will get that benefit. You won't get the benefit that obviously if you are taking it in a full attentive way, but still you would get the benefit. Like, for example, you mentioned about Ajamil and Draupadi, and then we have many others, like, for example, Gajendra or even Prahlad Maharaj. But this is how powerful the name of Krishna is. One thing that obviously means the highlight for me was the verse 16, where it says that, who is there desiring deliverance from the vices of the age of call, and who is not willing to hear the virtues, glories of the Lord. And then obviously it describes people who are engaged in the pure devotional service of the Lord, who are without any desire for self-aggrandizement, who are freed from the effects of fruitive action and dry and philosophical speculations. I think we all need to see inside each of us that whether we do qualify, whether we kind of tick those qualifications to hear the Bhagavatam. And 17 again, very very important, because obviously, so the very first, they had asked about why did Krishna appear in the womb of Devaki, and then obviously they know now about all of the Purusha avatars. And I think Shlok 17 is equally very very important, because it clears when earlier I used to hear about, okay, there is Karnodakshayi Vishnu and there is Garbhodakshayi Vishnu, and I used to think, because we have seen those serials, Brahma Vishnu Mahesh, so that's stuck into our mind. And this shloka, yes, it clears the concept that, okay, what is Mahavishnu? He is Karnodakshayi, and then there is obviously Garbhodakshayi, and then there is Kshirodakshayi, and what is the difference? What is Golok, what is Brahma Jyoti, and what is Golok Vrindavan, and all those things. Very important. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Yes, so thanks to Srila Prabhupada, we would have never known these things. We would have never researched them or found them. So thanks to Prabhupada that we got all this information. Otherwise, we can't work it out. We don't know it exists, this information, and he's just giving us so easily. Thank you, Prabhuji. Does anyone say something?
Yeah, Hare Krishna, everyone. For me, I will just sum up in one line all the understandings of all the shlokas we covered today, that the source, that is Lord Krishna, he has provided everything around us in any kind of species we are existing at any given time, at any given moment. And he has given us the choice how much we want to derive from that source, from the well around us, which is in this age of Kali, it is Mahamantra. He is in the form of Mahamantra. And to just hear this same thing, but what we read that Mahamantra is the essence of the Bhagavatam. So how merciful he is. So even if we are illiterate, even if we are, for example, not inclined to hear or even to study or even to take the association, even just by these transcendental vibrations, one can benefit. So Krishna is so merciful, and he has planned the exit route for all of us. But it's all upon us how much we are eager to get out of our situation. If we are interested to stay here, he has given us everything in this world as well. So we can't thank Krishna enough that for every situation, for our every desire, he has provided for us. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. And thank you all so much. And keep chanting. Chanting can do anywhere, at any time of the day. And whether, if you have time at work, you're stuck somewhere, waiting for some appointment, anyway, you can just keep chanting. So thank you so much, and we'll catch up again on Wednesday. Hari Hari Bol. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Bhagavatam ki jai.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.